It is over. The mystery is done. The months of speculation, the sleepless nights running theories, the arguments in comment sections, the dirt sheet reports pointing in 17 different directions simultaneously. All of it has been building to a single moment on Smackdown last night that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody in that arena or sitting at home, was genuinely prepared for. The person who blindsided Bron Breakker at the Royal Rumble in one of the most shocking and cowardly attacks we have ever witnessed on that stage. The same person who systematically terrorized the Vision on Raw week after week with a calculated, ruthless, almost sadistic consistency that left an entire locker room paralyzed with fear and uncertainty. That person stood in the middle of the Smackdown ring last night under those bright lights in front of that live audience and revealed their true identity to the entire world. And the reaction, the genuine, unscripted, visceral human reaction from that crowd, tells you everything you need to know about the magnitude of what just happened. If you are not already feeling that electric mixture of shock and fury and disbelief running through your body right now, then you are not watching closely enough. And on Ring Rumble 1, we watch everything closely. So sit down, lock in, and let me break down every single layer of the most significant moment in WWE this entire year. Let us go all the way back to the Royal Rumble because that is where this story truly began in a way that none of us recognized at the time. Bron Breakker was in that Rumble with everything to prove and the entire WWE universe behind him, riding a wave of momentum that felt genuinely unstoppable. The crowd was electric every time he entered a confrontation. The commentary team could barely contain their excitement every time Breakker connected with one of those devastating spears that shake the entire ring structure on impact. Everything was pointing toward a Bron Breakker Royal Rumble moment that would be replayed on highlight packages for years to come. And then it happened. From completely out of nowhere, before anyone in that arena had time to process what they were seeing, before the commentary team could even form a coherent sentence, before Bron himself could react with those lightning-fast reflexes that make him so extraordinarily dangerous, the mystery attacker struck. Brutal, precise, timed with a level of perfection that only comes from meticulous preparation and stone-cold nerve under the brightest spotlight professional wrestling has to offer. Bron Breakker went down in a way we had never seen before. And the attacker vanished back into the shadows before a single person could get a clear look at their face, their build, their defining characteristics, anything that might crack the mystery wide open before the plan was fully executed. That Royal Rumble attack was not impulsive. It was a calculated opening move in a campaign that was always going to end exactly the way it ended last night on Smackdown. The attacker knew from the very beginning how this story would conclude. The rest of us were just passengers on a journey whose destination had already been chosen before we ever boarded. And then came the Raw campaign against the Vision. If the Royal Rumble attack was the opening statement, the systematic terrorizing of the Vision on Raw was the paragraph-by-paragraph argument, each incident building on the last, each strike more brazen and more damaging than the one before it, each disappearance more clean and more complete than anyone thought possible in an environment with that many cameras and that much security infrastructure. Week after week we watched the Vision get targeted, get hurt, get left in situations that no superstar should ever have to navigate alone while an entire company supposedly scrambled to identify the threat. But here is what I kept coming back to during all those Raw episodes and what I want you to think about very carefully now that we have the full picture in front of us. The attacks on the Vision were never random. They were never opportunistic. Every single strike happened at a moment of maximum vulnerability and minimum witness presence, which tells you the attacker had intimate knowledge of the Vision's schedule, his movement patterns, his routines, and the specific gaps in security coverage that could be exploited without detection. That kind of knowledge does not come from observation alone. That kind of knowledge comes from proximity, from access, from a relationship close enough that the information was either shared willingly or observed from a position of trust. The mystery attacker was never an outsider looking in. They were always on the inside looking out. And that truth makes the reveal on Smackdown last night hit approximately 1,000 times harder than it would have if this had simply been a returning superstar with a grudge and nothing more complicated than that. Now let us talk about the Smackdown reveal itself because the manner in which it was executed deserves serious analysis beyond just the identity of who stepped forward. The build throughout that episode was masterful in a way that WWE creative does not always get credit for when they actually do their jobs at the highest level. Every segment felt slightly off in a way that you could not quite put your finger on. There was an energy in that building, a collective tension that the crowd was feeling without understanding why they were feeling it. The superstars in the ring seemed distracted in subtle ways. The commentary team kept glancing at things just off camera. The entire broadcast had the atmospheric pressure of a room where everyone knows something significant is about to happen but nobody is willing to be the first to acknowledge it out loud. And then the music hit. Or rather, the silence hit first. That specific, loaded silence that falls over a live wrestling crowd in the seconds before something genuinely historic occurs. The kind of silence that you can actually feel pressing against your eardrums if you have ever been inside an arena when a truly monumental moment is unfolding. And then the figure emerged. Walking with a purpose and a confidence that immediately communicated something crucial. This was not a person consumed by guilt or conflicted about their choices. This was someone who had arrived at this moment completely at peace with everything they had done and everything they were about to say. Someone who had rehearsed this reveal not as a confession but as a declaration. The mask, the hood, the concealing garments that had kept this identity hidden through months of chaos and violence, all of it came off deliberately, unhurriedly, with almost theatrical precision. And the face that was revealed to that Smackdown crowd, to the commentary team scrambling for words, to the television audience watching at home and to every superstar watching on monitors throughout that backstage area. That face belongs to someone whose history in this company made the entire campaign of terror suddenly, horribly, perfectly logical. Because when you know who it is, every single piece falls into place with the satisfying and deeply unsettling click of a combination lock opening after months of failed attempts. The Royal Rumble attack on Bron Breakker makes complete sense through the lens of this person's identity and their complicated history with everything Bron Breakker represents in WWE's current power structure. The sustained campaign against the Vision on Raw makes complete sense when you understand the depth of the grievances this individual has been carrying. Grievances that were never properly addressed, never given the resolution they deserved, allowed to calcify over time into something far darker and far more dangerous than simple professional rivalry. This is a person who felt erased, who felt that the system they gave everything to, their body, their time, their relationships, their physical and mental health, had decided they were expendable and moved on without a second thought. Who watched opportunities pass them by, watched people they believed were less deserving get pushed ahead of them, watched their place in this company's future grow smaller and smaller until the rage that had been quietly building finally reached a temperature that could no longer be contained or concealed. The mystery attacker did not wake up one morning and decide to become a monster. They were pushed there, incrementally, systematically, by decisions made by people in power who never considered the human cost of what they were doing to someone who had dedicated their professional life to this business. And while nothing can justify the violence, nothing can excuse what was done to Bron Breakker and the Vision and every other victim caught in this person's path. Understanding the origin of that pain makes this story genuinely tragic in a way that transcends simple villain and hero categorization. And that is precisely what makes this reveal so extraordinarily compelling from a storytelling perspective and so emotionally complicated from a fan perspective. Because your reaction to this identity is probably not simple. It probably involves some combination of shock, anger, understanding, sympathy, and moral confusion that does not resolve itself cleanly in either direction. You are probably angry at what they did. You might also understand, on some level, why they did it. And that internal conflict, that inability to file this person neatly into hero or villain category, is the mark of genuinely sophisticated professional wrestling storytelling that this industry produces far too rarely. WWE has given us something here that has the potential to be truly special if they follow through with the same courage and commitment to complexity that the setup has demonstrated. The aftermath of this reveal needs to honor the weight of what has been built. The confrontations between this individual and their victims need to carry the emotional truth of everything that preceded them. The road to whatever resolution this story ultimately reaches needs to be as layered and as honest and as willing to sit in moral ambiguity as the journey to this Smackdown moment has been. Do not simplify this WWE. Do not flatten this into a standard good versus evil structure that lets everyone off the hook emotionally. This story has earned the right to be complicated. Honor that. Now I am turning this completely over to you because your voice matters enormously in this community and I genuinely want to know how you were processing everything that happened on Smackdown last night. What was your immediate reaction when the identity was revealed? Did you see it coming or did it genuinely blindside you? Do you have sympathy for this person's motivations even while condemning their methods? And what do you think Bron Breakker's response is going to be when he comes face to face with the person who humiliated him at the Royal Rumble and derailed what should have been one of the defining nights of his career? Drop every single thought you have in the comments right now. Do not filter yourself. Do not wait until you have a perfectly formed opinion. Give me the raw, immediate, unprocessed reaction, because that is where the best conversations on this channel always begin. Share this video everywhere immediately. Every wrestling fan you know needs to be part of this conversation right now, because Ringrumble 1 is the place where WWE's biggest moments get the deepest, most honest, most passionate analysis anywhere on the internet. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on every notification, because the fallout from this Smackdown reveal is going to move fast and furious, and we are going to be right here covering every development with the depth and the honesty and the genuine passion for this business that this community has always deserved. Ringrumble 1. When the mask finally comes off, we are already ready. Always.